I mean, technically, is it a risotto if we don't add a little bit of wine? Yes, it could still be a risotto without wine. I just don't want anyone in the comments just telling me that's not a risotto. You know, the internet is brutal these days. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Cookin' with Tea. Today, we're gonna be celebrating spring in one of my favorite months of the year, April. It holds Earth Day, Easter, Good Friday, and of course, some amazing produce. We're gonna be doing a pan-seared sea bass with some spring veg and a beautiful risotto. You can make this for Good Friday, you can make this for Easter supper, you can make it for Easter dinner, and it's gonna be delicious. Let's get into it. Boom, bada, bam. Okay, so we have so many different vegetales to choose from. One of my favorite things about spring is the produce. I love leeks. So we're gonna take the greens off the leeks and we're gonna cut them down because we're gonna essentially use this for some stock. And I got a new knife, by the way. She's so cute. I have a beautiful veggie stock that I've been fortifying for like days. I cooked it overnight for maybe like 12 hours and I've just been continuing to add amazingness into it. So today we're gonna be using stock for our risotto. I highly recommend making your stock from scratch. I am gonna give all this stuff a rinse before popping it into our stock bowl, especially leeks. They're so dirty and you wanna make sure you don't have any like grit inside the stock. So we got our leek tops in there. We're gonna take our leek whites. You can have a little bit of green on the leek. Don't cut it all the way down. You can have like some light green. So we're gonna take our leeks and then we're going to cut them in half and just slice them into like half moons, just like this. I also think of the color green when I think of spring. I just love the color green as well. It's giving like heart chakra energy. And I wanted to celebrate that green. So we're gonna be making a green risotto. So we're just gonna go slicey, slicey. I know it looks like a lot of leeks, but they're gonna cook down. Look at me making a mess. I'm leaking everywhere, literally. And leeks are extremely dirty. So after you slice them down like this, you wanna make sure you're soaking them in some water. As you can see like how dirty it actually is. So we're gonna go ahead and rinse our leek tops and our leek bottoms in the sink. So since we're gonna be adding some trim into our stock, might as well do that now so it gets maximum time in the stock pot. So I'm gonna go ahead. There's so much amazingness in this stock, y'all. Actually, like, it's collections and collections of veggie trim, dried mushrooms. It literally smells divine. Like, my plan was to actually just drink this for days and go on like a broth diet. But we're gonna put some of this in our pot back here. Like I said, I'm gonna pop this into our stock pot. Maybe not all of it, just some of it. And then the rest of it I'll fortify later. People will tell you, anyone who knows me that has cooked with me, I love a stock. I adore a stock. I don't waste any veggie trim. Like, I am the queen of the stocks. Stocks make anything absolutely delicious. Now we're going to be getting into the rest of the veg that's going into the risotto, which is gonna be some shallot and spring onion. So we're gonna take our bottoms off of the onion, just like this. We're gonna keep the tops for something else. You could totally use those for whatever you wanna use, garnish. I'm taking the white of the spring onion and I'm quartering it. I'm just gonna kind of slice down. Similar to how I was cutting the leeks, we're just going to slice our spring onion. As you can imagine, all of the amazing flavor that's gonna be poured into this risotto. We have shallots, we have spring onions, we have leeks. We're gonna put asparagus in there after we blanch it. And I'm really excited about this like whole green vibe. I think it's gonna look visually stunning on the plate, and then the spinach is healthy for us, so it's gonna be great. This knife is like butter. It's literally my first time using it. I just got it at Food and Wine, Ojai, it says that girl on it because my initials are TG, period. I'm obsessed. It's so light and perfect. Then I'm gonna take our shallot. I love shallot. I feel like shallot is classic staple risotto. I don't know if you can make risotto without shallots. I mean, technically you can, but I just feel like it's just staple. Like, you just need it. And it's actually one of my favorite alliums. And like spring is the allium season. We get all of these beautiful kinds of onions. We also get ramps. I wish I could have found some ramps. Some ramps would have been really, really, really good in this actually. But I'm gonna take my shallot and then we're just gonna brunoise it really, really finely. The shallot, it's for some reason the shallot that always gets to me and I feel like I'm gonna start crying. Beautiful, fine brunoise on our shallots. All right, so I'm gonna pop this over into our stock. I'm literally about to cry. We got our brunoise shallots going in with the spring onions that we will be using. And now we're going to be getting into our asparagus. We have little fine baby asparagus. You know what, I didn't really want to use the really chunky hearty ones for this just because I am going to be slicing them at a bias and then folding it into the risotto. I didn't want like huge pieces. So I'm gonna take some asparagus. We all know the asparagus bottoms, we're gonna 86 them. We're gonna discard them because they're fibrous. The thinner asparagus doesn't have too much fiber in them, but still, you wanna make sure you're like getting rid of it. You wanna keep the spears. I'm gonna slice it at a bias as well. Something like this. I think this size is completely perfect for something like this. More like a bite-sized piece. And then, slicey, slicey. I'm actually really excited to be doing a dish like this on my channel. I feel like most of the dishes on my channel are very easy and like, well, not to say this isn't easy. I just think it's gonna be something that you can like present nicely if you're having like a lunch or a dinner or something like that. And you have guests over, or if not, you can make it for yourself. Self-love is the best love. So we got our asparagus, nice cut, beautiful. Let's talk about fennel. Fennel is one of my favorite spring veggies. It is like very licoricey, has like this anise taste to it. I'm gonna take this smaller bulb here that I have in my hand and I'm gonna cut the fennel top. You don't wanna 86 this. You could totally use this for anything. You could pickle the stems. I love a pickled fennel stem. You can use the fronds for garnish, which I'm totally gonna be doing today. So while I'm here, I'm going to just pick some of the fennel frond and set it to the side. And then I'm gonna take this bulb and then we're going to cut it in half. After we cut it in half, we're going to cut it in quarters. And then we have this heart of the fennel. I wanna slice that out. So you wanna keep it on the flat side and make sure you core the heart of the fennel out, but make sure that the fennel is like still intact. You don't wanna cut all the way through where it's not one piece anymore. Fennel is also a good vegetable to make in a stock, but I feel like for this particular stock, I don't wanna have too much fennel going on because it is very, very, very strong. So there's two sides of the fennel after you quarter it. We have a side that's a little bit more fine. As you can see, like the fennel is like thinner. And on this side, the fennel is thicker. This is the side that you wanna use on your mandolin. So make sure it's nice and thin. Be very careful when using your mandolin. And you just wanna shave the thin side and you wanna make sure it's like staying in this gorgeous little, how would you describe this? Claw? I don't know. But, you know, I've never cut myself on a mandolin. I've never cut myself on a mandolin. A lot of chefs are like, that's insane. How have you never done that? I'm like, I don't know. I've been so fortunate to not. But I've seen it. I've had to take care of it as obviously being like a sous chef. Like I've had many injuries in the kitchen. So please be careful and mindful. You could totally use a guard on your mandolin if you have one. And if you don't, maybe consider purchasing one. So our fennel is nice and shocked. We're doing this to add crispness into the salad because we don't want it to like fall flat. You want it to be crunchy and absolutely delicious and divine. I absolutely love this style of cooking. I feel so comfortable. I'm at home, I'm in my sweatpants, I'm cooking with intention, and we're having an amazing time. That being said, we're gonna also add our fennel fronds into the ice water. Might as well just do it all now, all together. I'm not mad at it. Lots of amazing ingredients are gonna be going into this. Let's talk about salad. So salad is gonna get a little bit of citrus because we need acidity, we need brightness. When I think of salad, I think of something fresh. So we're gonna take some tangelos, which are also peak season right now, and we're just going to supreme them a little bit. Supreming them is essentially just peeling and then segmenting the citrus fruit so that it's easy and delicious and edible in something like a salad. So just using my knife and trying to keep the integrity of the fruit, like not just hacking at it. I'm trying to keep some nice roundness to it. And you can go over it again and clean it up if you must. And then you wanna take a bowl or something like this because it's gonna be really, really juicy. And then you wanna just slice the segment out, something like that. This right here, the peel, like this is not what you want. Don't be worried. This is a no waste kitchen. We're gonna be eating the skeleton of the supreme, the citrus, I guess, if you may. I love that like nature is just such a beautiful conduit to life. I think a lot of people don't really pay attention to the changes of the seasons. And I think being a chef, I've been more aware to that, you know, getting certain produce during the time of year, XYZ. When things are in peak, like citrus, might as well take advantage of it and make it absolutely glorious. So I got a little bit of supreme in there. This part is a little snacky. Not mad at it. So good. I'm gonna take the zest of a Meyer lemon and I'm going to just go straight into my segments, as well as Meyer lemon juice into our tangelo. And we're just gonna let that sit and marry flavors. Gorgeous. So now let's chat sea bass. We have some beautiful, beautiful sea bass with the skin on. I like to sear it with the skin on. And I'm just gonna cut this into some sizable pieces here. What a beautiful piece of fish. I love whitefish. Sea bass is divine, it's decadent, it's everything I want in a piece of fish. It's so hearty, it's buttery, it's absolutely delicious. I'm also gonna take this piece of sea bass that I have here, and I'm going to cut this down as well. I can see here that the bones are still in, so I'm going to cut this piece, more of like the belly piece. I'm gonna keep this as is. And then I'm gonna take my knife. You wanna just cut the pin bones out. Nature is literally just a guide. Like for example, when you're breaking fish down, you kind of wanna follow where the pin bones are, and then it just kind of teaches you where exactly you need to cut the fish. So I'm gonna cut this in quarters. So now we have 5 beautiful pieces of fish here. For a beautiful piece of fish like this, you wanna just add some salt. Don't go too crazy on the seasoning. You wanna let the fish shine. I also kind of feel like this whole dish that I'm making, I wanna make sure the ingredients are at the forefront. I'm not going crazy heavy on the seasonings. We're keeping it all about the ingredients. We're gonna be blanching our spinach for our beautiful green risotto. I have some spinach that I've washed because it was super dirty. So I'm gonna pop this into some boiling blanching water. Blanching the spinach is what's gonna help the spinach stay green inside the risotto. If I were to just puree this and cook the spinach down into the risotto, it would turn the color, and I wanna make sure it's nice and vibrant and green to kind of keep that spring vibe going, you know? It's the whole purpose of this. So I wanna just cook this down pretty lightly, and we're gonna pop this into some very cold water. In the same pot of water, I'm going to add in our asparagus. Just a quick little blanch on the asparagus, because essentially I'm just gonna fold it into our risotto. So It's a quick little 1-2. I want to make sure there's still some texture on the asparagus. I don't want it to be cooked all the way through. I want it to have some bite in the risotto. All right, so I'm gonna take our spinach that we have blanched, and I've kind of squeezed some of the water out of it a little bit because spinach already has a lot of water content. So we're gonna go ahead and just blend this up. So with the spinach, I wanna make sure that it's pretty smooth. It doesn't have to be super fine, but it's pretty smooth. Yummy. Delicious. I think I'm about ready to cook some risotto and have a little orange vino. Let's see how this goes, actually. I mean, technically, is it a risotto if we don't add a little bit of wine? Yes, it could still be a risotto without wine. I just don't want anyone in the comments just telling me that's not a risotto. You know, the internet is brutal these days. Like I said, I think this would be absolutely divine with our orange fennel salad, orange wine. I mean, hello. Ooh, that's really good. This is so good. I love like a skin contact natural wine. Ooh, this is actually divine. Would you like some? So in risotto land, we got a little pot here. We're gonna add a little bit of some oil. We also have our stock working here. I don't really want to get too much color on the veg that I'm initially gonna be searing or cooking down. So I'm gonna add in our shallots and our spring onions. And then I'm gonna add some beautiful fresh bay leaves. And then I'm also gonna be adding in just a few leeks that we cut down. And I'm gonna take a rubber spatula and I'm just gonna go ahead and make sure everything's melting together. And of course, salt. Beautiful. So I kind of just wanna mellow all of these flavors together, and you can turn it up a little bit. You don't want any color on this at all. The goal is to make sure there's no browning happening in the risotto veg, if possible. If not, it's okay. Nobody's gonna, no, it's not the end of the world. It's just risotto. So we're gonna cook this down. I do have a little bit of butter here. I'm gonna add in. Butter is life. So we're gonna make this really nice. Cook this low and slow. Beauty. So when it comes to our risotto, we're gonna be using Arborio. Wait a minute. I'm like, am I pronouncing this right? Arborio rice. It is a short grain rice. This is the classic rice to use for risotto. We have our Arborio rice going down. And risotto is the type of rice dish you have to pour your love and intention and care into. It's not one of the dishes that you can kind of walk away from. You wanna make sure you're right at the pot the whole time. Beauty. We are going to start to add our stock. Typically when cooking a regular long grain rice, you do your rice and your liquid at the same time. But when it comes to the risotto cooking method, you wanna add in the cooking liquid gradually. You wanna mix it up. As you can see, we have a good amount of liquid into our rice. We're gonna allow the rice to absorb the stock and then continue to gradually add more stock into the rice until the rice is al dente. You wanna make sure you're stirring. You wanna continue to stir. When you're stirring, you're releasing some of the starches that are in the rice, and it's gonna make for that nice, like creamy risotto texture that everyone looks for when they're going in for a bite of risotto. As you can see, most of the stock is absorbed. When it gets to this point, you wanna continue with the stock. This is why I mentioned you must stay by your risotto. Respect the risotto, pour the love into the risotto. This stock here has a mixture of so many different vegetables. It's so deep and it's so rich, as you can imagine from the color of the veggie stock. So You really want to respect the risotto and respect all of the ingredients that went into making this a delicious dish. I actually had a really, really delicious risotto in Italy. It was like one of the best things I ate when I was in Lecce, filming Chow House. I don't think I had one good risotto dish on the show though. That's okay. It's one of those scary things. A lot of people are like afraid to make risotto, especially when there's not that much time involved. But when you do have time, it's definitely a labor of love for sure. Now's a good time for me to add some salt into the mix. I kind of want to salt it evenly throughout the cooking process, not just at the end. There's no salt in the stock, so we want to be mindful of all the moments we have to add some salt into the dish. We didn't add the vino. That's what I forgot to do. It's too late to do it now. Alrighty, the risotto has been cooking for some time now. We've added a few more ladles of stock. It's almost at that point and it looks absolutely delicious. You can tell from the texture that it has developed some beautiful starch. At this point, I'm gonna go ahead and fold in my asparagus and let that kind of continue to cook through and get the asparagus a little bit more tender. The asparagus, however, is like very thin and it's not like super thick, so we don't need that much time on it. Continue to fold and fold and fold. We are going to add some spinach puree into the mix. Visually, my goal for this is to be like super green and vibrant rice on the bottom of our plate. So we're folding in our spinach puree to celebrate all of the beautiful green that spring offers to everybody. Offers to nature, offers to our soul, offers to our palate. Gonna let this continue to add a little bit of salt. And instead of the typical Parmesan cheese, I'm gonna go ahead and add in some mascarpone cheese. I think it'll go really nice with the sea bass and it'll also keep the risotto super beautiful and creamy. And then for acidity, we're gonna add just a little touch of Meyer lemon juice. I'm gonna let this do its beautiful, beautiful thing and sit while we get our sea bass searing. So our pan has been on pretty much this whole time on low and slow because we want it to be pretty much kind of ripping hot. I'm adding some olive oil into our pan here. I'm gonna kind of crank the heat up high now. We're gonna take our sea bass. I wanna sear, typically you wanna do skin side down first always. However, I wanna sear the flesh side down first. Check out our fish. Not quite. However, I am gonna add some thyme and a few cloves of garlic. So we got a beautiful sear on this side. We're gonna go ahead and flip it over. Of course, we can't do a beautiful sea bass without a little butter baste. So I'm gonna take some of the butter I have here and then we're gonna baste our fish, some butter. Sea bass is also a really, really thick piece of fish, so when you think it's done, it probably still needs a little bit more time. All right, y'all, so our fish is beautiful and seared. We got some golden color on the bottom as well as the top, which is exactly what we were looking for, while still keeping a nice meaty flesh. Gonna do something like this, and then Pour our butter right on top. We can set that aside and now we can get ready to plate. Amazing. Amazingness. We need this in our life. I mean, this smells incredible in here. What a way to really honor all of the bountiful, beautiful produce and energy that spring brings us. We have our beautiful fennel fronds as well as our shaved fennel here drained. I do want to add a little bit more herbs to the salad. So I'm going to take some mint because mint just screams spring. So we're going to do a little bit of a chop on this mint. No worries, doesn't need to be super fine. Just a little mint, just to add a little bit of herbaceousness and freshness into the salad, as well as, I was thinking to go for dill, but I think with the fennel and the mint and the parsley and all of the other amazing aromatics, we have the thyme on the fish, we have the bay leaf in the rice. I don't want to overpower it too much, so I'm gonna do a little bit of parsley in our salad as well. And like I said, I didn't want to go super crazy about the dressing or the vinaigrette, so we're just gonna keep it simple with a little bit of olive oil. Not too much though, considering how fatty and buttery our fish is. We're gonna just add a little bit of zest into our fennel salad. Beautiful. And then we're going to add some Meyer lemon juice. Good healthy amount of juice. We can't forget our Tangelo Supremes, so that plus the juice is gonna go in here as well. And we just want to give this a nice toss. They're beautiful citrus fennel salad. All it's missing is a little bit of Maldon salt. Wow. Wow. I'm ready to plate. I'm ready to eat and I'm ready to plate. I'm ready for a beautiful, lovely risotto. You want to let the risotto fall off the spoon. There's no need to manipulate it and pack it and do all of those other things. That's not how we feel about risotto. You want to give it some room to grow. It'll fall when it falls. Now we are going to add a beautiful piece of sea bass. Beautiful piece of fish. And then we're gonna do a little bit of salad. Try to be intentional when you're plating your salad. Maybe you can ball it up. And just do a little fennel in the corner. Can't forget our Supremes. We'll do a little bit of Maldon salt on top. And I don't know why, but I think that I need to see a little bit of that beautiful stock we made on the bottom. Lovely. We also have these beautiful nasturtium leaves that I don't want to leave out the mix. There it is. In all honesty, it's pretty simple. And you can make it elegant. You can make this gorgeous, gorgeous dish on Easter supper, Good Friday, going in for a beautiful, beautifully cooked sea bass. So good. Delicious. The second bite with the salad really ties everything together. First bite, it was great, but it needed that pop of acidity, and the salad with the fennel and the orange and the Meyer lemon, mint, parsley, completely takes this dish to the next level it needs to be at. Let's go in for another bite. Now that I have had multiple tastes of this dish, I can kind of wrap my head around what it really tastes like. Obviously, I could say that it tastes like spring, but you can really taste like every single element of the dish. You can taste the spinach in the risotto, the mascarpone, the asparagus, all the herbs, the bay leaf, the herbs in the salad. Like, honestly, this is truly, truly a beautiful spring dish. I would be so ecstatic to have this at anybody's restaurant this spring. Literally, it's so good. So, so, so good. And I hope that you make it, okay? Those are my final words. I hope you make it and enjoy it as much as I'm enjoying it. Clearly, I've made some way. All right, until next time, peace, love, and blessings. 10 out of 10. So good.